I got asked a lot about how you do the X line, which is full Mitt Rye combo and Protoss lock, so I want to make sure that I go ahead and show you. So X Ryzeal is a house of a card, right? So you're going to dump the duo drive here and do the very standard line with X, which is X into sword, grab the ice, normal ice, and then you're going to summon out the Star Ryzeal, which will get you the Ryzeal cross, and then you'll go ahead and overlay both of these for duo drive, attach the duo drive engrave, and then go ahead and detach two to search out your ice and your node. And then you'll go into King of the Feral Imps right here. You'll put it in the EMZ, is just for space. You'll see how annoying space gets in here. So you'll go for Habakiri, which will then tribute the Saji, which will add you the ritual spell, and we will summon out the Habakiri, pitching the Kusanagi and the Serpent, which will summon the Serpent, add back the ritual spell. We'll then use the ritual spell to get rid of the Habakiri and summon out Mirakumo. We will not summon back out the Habakiri, but we will search Prayer, which is very helpful here. We will then go ahead and activate Prayer and tribute the Serpent, which will then go ahead here and add us a Habakiri, and then summon out the Saji, and then we will pay 800 for that, which is fine. Then we'll summon out the Ice by pitching the Habakiri that we just searched, and then we will overlay these two for Banshee, and then Banshee here will go ahead and grab the Flag, and then we will summon this out by recycling the Serpent, which is a really crazy interaction, and then go ahead and add the Protoss to hand. So here, what we're going to do is detach both of these to turn these into Eclipse Twin and the EMZ, and you'll see why this is important here in a second as well. Summon out the Protoss by banishing the Flag, the Habakiri, and then you're just going to have to choose which light monster you want to go after. I usually just go for the Ice here because I like to keep more X in rotation. And then here you can call almost any attribute you want to. Just on board alone right now, we have Fire, Light, and Dark, right? So you're going to realistically always sacrifice your dark monsters here so you can get rid of the Mirakumo, which is fine because once you call Dark on someone for the lock, a lot of decks just can't play, and I mean like most decks, so that's perfectly fine. And then we have Node, which this is why we have the Eclipse Twin on the board, so we can summon the Node and then go ahead here and pitch the Eclipse Twin to summon back out the Sword. You can choose to bring out the Banshee if you want the additional body on board. I mean, there's not really anything that's like too crazy to have it, but you could. Then now you're going to go ahead and make your Detonator, and then Detonator gets the Eclipse Twin to be attached, and now you have a dark locked board with Duo Drive and Detonator with Twin and Cross. And not only that, we did all of this just off of X. So that means that you have hypothetically 4 other cards in your hand, and you get to go ahead now and do your cross draw. So you have 5 in hand, and you have your full board with just X. Kinda crazy. With the NAWCQ coming up, I also wanted to show off one of my games in this match because it is a Rai Mitsu mirror match, and it gives you a great insight into what is happening and the intricacies in the matchup, because it's not always just comparing hands. A lot of times it is a lot of very unique interactions that you have to do to really be able to get the edge in the matchup. So I do lose the die roll here, and then my opponent is going to start off, but I have Perilia, which is great into most matchups anyway, so I felt pretty confident even though my hand wasn't that great. I am going to Ash this. I usually Ash this if it's the first thing, just because I'm like, okay, they don't have access to Ryzeal cards, but now it's a little worse. You might want to just Ash like the Saji or just wait for Duo Drive, right? Because it depends on how big of a package they're playing, and you'll kind of be able to gauge that as you play. Some people aren't even playing Cross, so it makes the Duo Drive a worse choke point than it would be for like a Saji to cut them off of a ritual play. So something that you really got to think about here. But I do have them under the Perilia. I'm assuming that they only play one Perilia, because if they're on Ryzeal, Perilia is rough to play against, right? So that's one thing where they might not have been able to use their cross out, but they also maybe could have just been holding it for later on, or like a Droll or a Fua or something that could really matter later on too. which is usually pretty smart. If you feel pretty confident about playing through certain hand traps, you can just keep letting things get negated or activated, right? And you're like, that's fine, until something really matters happens, you know, and then you're like, all right, I gotta cross out this. This is still completely blind. They have no idea what I'm playing yet, so that's perfectly fine here. They're going to go for Saji effect here, add Ritual, which is fine. My hand is, again, still not fixed yet, but it's pretty okay. But hopefully this Perulia is able to fix it. They're going to keep going and just playing through combo here, which is fine. Go for the Habakiri here and summon out their Mirakumo. There's only so much that you can add in this deck if you're not playing like the pre-prep, the Mirror, and the Futsu or Magatama. So it's pretty redundant in the searches, but you do want to back up Prayer for the next turn. I did get the X, so automatically my hand is insane. I have X Prayer and I have Prosper later, right? So as long as there's no draw in the equation, I'm pretty sure I'm chilling, right? So now they're going to go ahead and add back the Prayer, which is weird they didn't add the Ritual. They're like really scared of the Perulia, I guess, so that's fine. So now we're going to see the Duo Drive activate here, go for the Sword and for the Ice. This is really interesting that they didn't go for Cross here. They were just confident that they weren't going to get stopped or that it didn't really matter apparently. But they are going to go for Twin here just so they can get this in rotation because they didn't want to send it off of like X, summon out their star, and get to the Cross, which is very interesting as their line of play here, but sure. So now we're going to see the Mirakumo here try to negate, and then I'm going to just discard the draw for that because I don't want to draw. I'm drawing a ton right now. So we already have Fua and Perulia active. We're just chilling, right? So our hand's looking crazy now. We're just going to keep letting things play out here. My opponent is going to set 2. They have Cross, they have Mirakumo. We know about the Prayer. So they have Cross out, which is an unknown to us because not everyone's maining Cross out. Usually in this deck, no one's maining the trap either, so you know one of the sets is going to be Prayer. The other one, it really does depend. It could be a really random main deck trap. It could be just like a dud second Prayer, which is kind of whatever, right? Could be a call by. Usually this deck isn't playing Imperm anymore, but they could be now because of Protoss. But unless you're playing like a really heavy Mitsu engine, you don't really lose to Protoss because you play light, dark, and fire. So you have a lot of ways around it, which is fine. So you can just make some deductions based on like what they do so far and like what you can assume that they are on. Because it could even just be like a droplet, even though that's not like super common. It's something that I could see a little bit more of lately. So draw phase, we're going to go Prayer and then go ahead and tribute the Habakiri. We're going to add the Mirakumo, and then our opponent is going to cross out Habakiri, which is interesting here, which is fine, honestly. That's just like a weird one to cross out. But now we'll go X pitch the Mirror Logic, which will get the search, and then go after the detonator. You could target the cross, it just depends on what you're afraid of with the cross, but it did force it out anyway here. Summon out the Mirakumo from hand, which is so broken when you're able to do that. And Serpent is so common now, right? So go ahead here and then try to use the effect to Regeki. They're going to chain Detonator. I'm going to chain Mirakumo. And you'll see how this all plays out here. Chain the Detonator again here. Pop my Mirakumo. Summon back out the Serpent. These are all a ton of different things that are happening all at once, but you kind of just have to like conceptualize what you want to do in these matchups because you can kind of get like lost in the sauce very quick, right? But the second that you have a game plan and you have an idea of what you want to go for, like I'm 100% positive that this card right here is just Prayers now because I already used the other one as a cross out. So I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine. And we already know that they had it. So they're going to go back for Detonator here, which is cool. They have the board wipe, which is Mirakumo. So that's fine. That's already gone now. Now I have Prosperity, and they're going to try to use that. I'm just going to pitch Star. It doesn't really matter. Add the Prayer here, and it sucks because there isn't like a more optimal add here at the moment. Our mills here on that were just terrible. So we'll put them back and then just grab the Prayer for later if it helps out. Summon out the Sword, and then we'll grab the Ice. Ice will go ahead here and try to summon the Pop It, go for X. Don't activate anything else. Just go directly for the Detonator. Detonator, go ahead here and attack into Detonator so we can clear the other material so we can actually continue to play without another pop happening. So now we're pretty much just chilling. We have Node, which is cool. We also have Mirakumo and Grave, which makes this Prayers insane for follow-up. Now we can go ahead here and pitch the Ritual spell, go into a Duo Drive, and then Duo Drive here can search. The star off the node was negated, so we couldn't just like get to cross. So we are going to search it here and put back 2 to draw, which is also very good. We get into Droll, which is crazy. We're in main phase 2 now. Past turn, this is where things get interesting right in the draw phase. I'm like, do you have anything in the draw phase? And I just want to just get rid of these immediately, right? Because I don't want to deal with them. And so I go for Prayer, and I'm wanting to Reborn, and then I can go Detonator. So this was like the whole idea, right? I was going to go Prayer while they didn't have material, and then they're going to chain this. I'm going to chain Detonator to go ahead and pop Cross, and then wipe the board with my Mirakumo. And then also have the Mirakumo negate on it as well. And then I have Droll. And I want to do all of this before, you know, like, it's going to be a problem for me to Droll in case I need to, like, tribute something or, like, summon something back out and get, like, follow-up, what have you. So we still have Droll. They're going to try to Mirakumo again. And I'm just like, nah, we're not doing that. Not at all. Cross negate. And so that's going to be the game right there. And these are things that you really got to think about because, like, being able to anticipate what someone's going to do is so important in the game. And I feel like people really undercut that because, like, if you know the general idea of what you want to go for, like, if you can just, like, visualize an end board and just go for it, that's going to get you the most wins in Yu-Gi-Oh, honestly, because you have a great idea and you actually execute that idea versus going for, like, 2 different lines and then just kind of, like, crangling the line and then you're like, oh, I guess I lose, and we don't want to be in those situations. But if you did enjoy today's video, definitely let me know down below in the comment section. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you enjoyed this kind of video. I know it's a little different from what I'm used to, but this is something that I also can do in the future. If you would like to see this, definitely let me know. But I hope that you all have a great day. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you.